We don't get equal pay, first of all. So if a woman did want to be the breadwinner and the man is a stay-at-home father, she is most likely not going to make the same amount of money as he would make if he was the breadwinner.
True.
And she was the stay-at-home
It depends
mum.
what job they're doing.
No, if they were in the exact same job, yeah, it is more likely that the man is going to get more money in that same job than it is for the woman.
Read on something.
No, but the thing is, when you were speaking, when you were speaking out, I was understanding, and myself and anyone understanding that you don't understand how men think. And that's what I'm pointing out. I'm not trying to say that you're a bad person or anything. I'm just saying when it comes to men and the way in which we think and feel, women generally don't understand how men think and feel, and they try to make men into women.
I know. I just wish that sometimes with these people doing all this transgender stuff, maybe they can do a trans mind stuff. So put a girl into a boy's mind and find out what we go through. Like literally, we think.
Many readers have asked how to deal with their mothers in their later years if they fail to save for retirement or make poor financial decisions. Do you believe governments will eventually enact any type of universal basic income when the present generation of CAT women reaches retirement age without funds or family to support them? As individuals age, they decline in both areas. Unless, of course, they manage to squeeze into a position recognized by the state. Pension plan where benefits are predetermined. Is there a particular reason why so many of them have chosen careers in education, at Guberman, or in the armed forces? But that's just the fortunate few who consider themselves lucky. Those unfortunate Guberman employees have been heard recently moaning and raving about their meager 1 to 2% pay increase. If current trends persist for the next 5 years, and the true rate of inflation is between 10% and 15%, most whose retirement savings in cash bonds and other low-risk assets will likely be worth 60% to 70% less than they are right now. In general, women are more cautious than males when it comes to spending money on a whim. Due to this, most people will be hesitant to invest in high-risk assets like technology stocks, cryptocurrencies, and commodities. Many of them are willing to put a high value on the equity in their own homes, the only high-risk asset they tend to bid up. Countries throughout the world are struggling to maintain their financial stability. The weigh-ins aren't as important to them as they once were. Universal basic income will not be implemented as long as women continue to vote for left-leaning Gwyn. Women are still economically disadvantaged whether they save or spend. In the region I oversee, entry-level occupations like waiting tables and housekeeping will continue to pay the same. Having women take on more of the household's responsibilities helps keep labor costs down. Why did women bring in so many SCOs from the third world if they knew it would make them ting? That is, obviously, until there are a sufficient number of them to cause significant disruption in the West. In addition, with women's votes on the rise, both the left and the right would need to lavishly spend money to keep their seats in the legislature. As the West collapses, I have little doubt that corporate governments will make allowances for the grainy to ensure their continued employment. Sometime in the future, I'm sure there will be men costumed like they used to dress up as dog catchers going around capturing the elderly. The baby boom generation has had unparalleled prosperity throughout their lives, and now they are reaping the benefits of the system's generosity in their retirement years. There is a limit to how long governments can get away with devaluing the purchasing power of the young and our assets to pay for the old. We'll have to get back to living within our means and being economically responsible soon enough. It's safe to assume that the vast majority of women would find that offensive and would actively work to overthrow any government that tried to limit their access to grandmother gravy. That is, until they become the majority of Western and international politicians, at which point most males will say, "Leave it," and give up. We need to break away from nanny state centralism. We men must plan for our own retirements and secure the safety of our property. How do you believe they'll be able to pay for the universal basic income, which is really simply a fancy means of redistributing wealth? The cantillating impact is the key factor here. To put it another way, the more convenient your location is to the currency printers, the more of the value of the currency in circulation in your state you will be able to appropriate for yourself. It may come as a shock to us males to realize that women believe we will tolerate anything for a taste of their golden cooch, even we have our limit. Perhaps if you provided it to 100 or 1,000 individuals, but if you gave it to millions, it would induce inflation by pushing up the prices of products and services, as well as rents. Nonetheless, I do not believe that inflation can be easily halted. The only way to protect oneself if women go crazy with the money printing machines is to flee to a state that hasn't gone completely insane and invest in stateless cryptocurrency. You need to get out of there if several ladies are demanding your crypto as well. States, I am genuinely concerned that we will witness needy elderly women resorting to terrible measures, such as stealing men's retirement funds or the DEB base, because they are desperate. They will not acknowledge their role in destroying the monetary system and failing to save for their golden years, instead placing the blame on males and, most likely, on capitalism itself. No matter how hard they try, they just can't accept responsibility for their impending inability to retire. Then I felt like a real man. Instead of having to manage their own assets and risk an uncertain payout in retirement, those with defined benefit plans can anticipate how much money they will get and may plan their retirement accordingly. That is a major factor preventing women from reaching retirement age. They are increasingly responsible for managing their own pension funds on their own, as they do not have access to professionally managed pension plans. They don't take enough chances, in part because they're women. Also, women are typically less willing to take chances. They want a man willing to invest his own money and take risks. He can attempt to leave her for another guy if he loses, and she will likely try to do the same. An even greater risk taker than that. If it replaces all other currencies throughout the world, women will need to do a lot of jujitsu to grab a slice of the pie.